your second album, Mortal, is set to be released on August 28th. Tell me a little bit about the album.
Well, it's the second full length. I don't know. We we spent a lot of time getting prepared to record and get this one going. We've been touring for the last 3 years, so it was kind of difficult to find the time for us to set aside for us to get in there and start learning all these songs. But I don't know. I think it's definitely a darker album. It's a more proficient album across the board. Just, from all of our playing, we're definitely more confident, and we just, a lot more tight with all the songs. I think, also Greg Wilkinson, who recorded it, he's definitely made it sound as best as it can be. He's always done such a great job with all of our recordings that he's done for us. And then we went with Alan Duche to master the album, and we had never gone with him before. It was a recommendation on Greg, who had worked with him previously on a few albums. So we're very open, but also very committed to the idea that we had when we decided to go in and do this record.
Yeah, I think Greg also, as you say, in these 3 years, we got so much better from playing hundreds of shows. And I think that also Greg got better from recording a lot of bands.
Hundreds of bands.
Thousands.
Yeah.
Well, in those 3 years, also Greg developed new, strategies and little tricks. And he's got some new material, some new equipment, and he's got, some new way of doing something that is more efficient and time-saving. But, for us, is the way I see it is, we switched from being, in these 3 years, we switched from a band that wanted to be a real band to a real band that's got to do everything in a short amount of time, because 2-3 months, you got to go back on tour again. And there is no breaks. So there is no talking about, let's take 6 months off to write the record. Let's take a year off to write and record the record. You know what I mean? We can't do that anymore. I mean, now everything changed, but at that time we were we can't, because we are going to have to write this record in between tours. And I wrote the lyrics on tour during our 45 days with Exhumed and Gate Creeper. When we got back, we played 3 months straight of shows. We wrote the album and practiced it in between 4 months. And then we went on tour for almost 3 months nonstop. Then we got back, and we literally had 3 weeks to practice. We took a week off, and then or 10 days off, and then we started practicing every day for 3 weeks, and then we went on the studio every single day until the album was finished. So it's all back to back, back to back, back to back. So that's what you're doing all the time. Always playing music, always doing it, always playing with these two guys. You know what I mean? We're always playing together, everywhere. So then you get into the studio and you're you know exactly what you're doing, because you never stop.
So with that in mind, and with the added pressure of your tour commitments and your other band commitments, would you say that you guys write songs faster? Did these songs come together faster than your previous album?
I think, yeah, they came faster, definitely. Yeah. I think I got better at writing songs without overthinking it too much. Getting shit done. You know what I mean? I gotta write songs. I know that I know how to do it. I'm gonna sit there and do it and get it done. Boom. That's the approach. Before it was this song sounds sick, but maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll listen to it again. We'll try again in a month, see if we still like it. Good night. But I think there was a lot more of overthinking on my side, at least, when I was writing songs. Initially it was brutal. The time, I would write so many riffs, and then most of them are lost forever. Or even for Blood Offerings, I wrote an amount of lyrics for Blood Offerings that it would be a whole discography of some other band. It's overthinking. I'm gonna redo it. I'm gonna make it better. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna rewrite the lyrics again. You know what I mean? It's mental almost. Now I'm a little more, focused, and I know what I like. I know what I'm doing. I'm just more confident, and I don't need to it's easier to write an album now. Definitely.
Would you say that the limited time was beneficial in terms of your songwriting?
Yeah, I think it's just I think I said this in another interview too, but like I think it's the right amount of pressure and the right amount of confidence together. And we had like, you know, we had that confidence from playing so many shows. After Blood Offering came out, we never stopped. And we were playing a lot of shows before too, but especially after Blood Offering came out, we did a lot of tours. So it's like that confidence and also the pressure of like, you know, we wanted the album to be out in June. And we wanted to do all those tours. We didn't want to skip any of it. So it's like, this is the time for us to make it happen. And it was somewhat stressful because we had a moment that I was definitely, I don't know, squeezing Chad and Sonny a little hard. Or, you know, I had like, you know, there was a moment of a little bit of like pressure that came out from it. You know what I mean? That I was like, you know, making sure that Sonny was catching up and writing the solos, you know what I mean? Because it's like I write the riffs, but then it's like, you know, I need Chad to help me with the fucking drum beats, of course, you know what I mean? And then I need Sonny to write the solos, and then we need to practice them. And then it's like, you know what I mean? It's like there is some parts that is in my control, that is the lyrics and is the rhythm guitars, the riffs. But then we needed all to really put this amount of work into it, and like. Unfortunately, Sonny was going through he had to move twice, you know what I mean? In the middle of like these 4 months that we had to write and learn the record, Sonny had a bunch of shit that happened to him. So it's like me and Chad were getting ahead, kind of, like, and he was getting a little left behind. Because like me and Chad were like had way more time than him, and he was having a hard time, I don't know, he had to move twice, or he had to work a lot in that period because he needed the money to make those moves that he had to do. You know what I mean? So it's like there was a little bit of stress given from the short amount of time that we had to put this album together. But at the same time, even that kind of stress, I think that ultimately pushed each and one of us to get the best out of our capacities, our skills. You know, I think it really helped because pressure can help get the best result. Is always like that. I believe in that. That's why I think to do great things, you need to be able to handle pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. What can you tell me about the lyrical themes?
Well, lyrically, is like we talk. It's kind of like is somewhat. We talk about like, you know, the way society is and affects everybody, and the way this world is very based on injustice and suffering of a lot of people, of everybody. And we also talk about like mortality and the condition of man, of being a mortal being, not only at the end of his life, but through our whole life, you know, that we constantly like lose things that we think they were going to be there forever or whatever, you know, people has got these illusions. And in a way, like we talk about mortality in a way of like acceptance, in a way of like accept the fact that you're gonna lose everything, so you don't have to lose your mind. You don't have to get so mad when things don't go the way you want it. You know, and you can find comfort in that, you know, in that darkness, in knowing that you're gonna die, in knowing that everything is gonna disappear and be forgotten one day. So it's like, don't get so fucking caught up on this life on a simple level, you know. It's like things are never as obvious as they really look.
Do you draw most of your lyrics from real life and real experiences?
Yeah, definitely. I try, actually, when I'm writing an album, I try to not get, like usually I try not to read books, I try not to listen to too much music. I try to get the least as possible influenced by anything.
So, as you mentioned, the album was recorded by Greg Wilkinson. Wilkinson has worked with a lot of, maybe most of the extreme metal bands in the area, and he also recorded your previous album. Tell me about working with Greg and your relationship with him.
I mean, we've known Greg for years. He's played in a ton of bands in the Bay Area, and he's recorded a ton of bands in the Bay Area, and you know, it's good to have, you know, it's good to work with people that you've known for a long time and you're friends with, just because you know how to, I guess, like navigate, and you know, it's not awkward. It's just, you know, it's kind of like you're hanging out almost, but you know, you're still working, you're still getting stuff done, but it's you know, nobody's in some weird attitude. You can't read somebody, you know, the wrong way. It's like, you know, it's all just friendly, and so that's why we like working with him. I mean, with the last album, I think he did a great job, as as best that he could do with what we gave him, and I think like he just totally stepped it up for this new album, and he helped us, he helped give us ideas on how certain song structures should go, or just if somebody should redo a take or redo a part to make it better. He's always there to help, but he's also there to just make sure that it gets captured as best as possible, and so that's that's a great reason why we work with him, is just because we trust him, and we don't want to work with people that we don't trust and we're not friends with. So.
Well, there is a great power that I think comes from working with people that you really love and appreciate. Because like we've known Greg for at least 10 years, and we've known Scotty for at least Sonny probably known Scotty for like 25 years. It's like all these people, like we really are family, and it's like we all want us to succeed. We want to do good with the record so that Scotty can do good with his label, and Greg can do good with his studio, and like Marald can do good or whatever. And then Marald wants to do a great cover so that we do good, and then Scotty do good, and Scotty wants, like, everybody wants the best for each other. So it's like
it's all connected.
We're all putting the best effort. You know what I mean? You get that? We're all putting the best effort, not just for yourself. We're all trying to help each other. Also because we're not like, Oakland's got a great sense of communities. It's always been like kind of like a rough place where to live in, and like you really feel really close to these people that share with you, like your life shows, and I think it's great to continue working with. For us, it's great to continue working with these people that they're family to us.